Hi, Days.
Hi, Jess. How are you this week?
I'm fine. I've had a very quiet day today. I made it my mission today to do as little as humanly possible because I still
Oh,
haven't had like a super chill weekend
you get it.
since the holidays. And I just really wanted a day where I like didn't do anything apart from talk to you, obviously. So like even yesterday I was like doing all my chores and stuff, so I didn't have to do anything today. So I've literally done nothing today except work on a jigsaw puzzle. It was
I
thrilling.
love a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, I love this one is fucking hard though. My brother and sister-in-law gave it to me for Christmas and it's so much harder than I
How
realized.
many pieces?
1,000. But it's round, which is really throwing me.
Oh,
It really confused me when I first started working on it. I was like, where are the edges? Like I need to build the outside first.
is it multiple colors though? Like, is there a pattern that makes it somewhat?
No, that makes it
Oh,
even more difficult. It's shades of black, white, and gray, which is not helping.
I think that actually verges into too hard for me.
It was so usually I'm actually really good at puzzles because I'm very good at pattern matching and like and that sort of thing. You know, you've given me puzzles as birthday presents and stuff. So you know how much I love a puzzle. This one I am really struggling with because there's no real patterns to match for my brain.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
don't
why
think I
I'm
could do it. I think
yeah.
I think my ADHD would just take me off in another direction. Wouldn't be able to finish
I'm
it.
I get really stubborn with them though, where I'm like, you are not going to defeat me. Well, also to throw another spanner in the works, my brother and sister-in-law found it at a charity shop, and bought it. So it could be missing pieces. I don't know. That's really going to stress me out.
Oh God, well, next week we'll find out the update. The cryptic
This is
puzzle continues.
this is what happens when you're our age and you have a quiet weekend.
I feel like I was like this anyway. I was either like inside being a hermit or at the club. Like I feel like I've
There's no
always
in
been
between.
nursing my inner granny quite actively.
I'm really making myself sound so boring. Like last week I was knitting, this week I'm doing jigsaw puzzles. Like I swear I do other things. It's just not at the minute. This
No, I
time of
think
year
the
as
theme
well.
of
It's
being
gross.
cozy is good. I think
Yeah.
cozy activities are good.
As the Danish say, it's hygge.
Yeah, Hugo, which I just thought was huggy. Dyslexic and ADHD. I live in a very different world to everyone else.
But I mean, that's kind of the point of it, right? It feels like a hug, like a
Well,
cozy hug.
that was it. That was the connection I made in my head, and I hadn't seen any or hadn't heard anyone talk about it, so I hadn't heard the pronunciation.
Yeah, it's like when I first read the Harry Potters, which, you know, we don't talk about now, but back in the day we did, and I didn't know how to pronounce Hermione. I think
Oh,
that's a really
well,
common
that's
one because
Americans don't know that
exactly,
as
it's
well.
exactly, that's not a
How would
common
you
name.
pronounce it?
Oh, in my head, I pronounced it like Hermione for years, something like
Oh.
that. Anyway,
Yeah,
how
you don't
about
have problems like that when you're dyslexic. You just sort of, like, see the pattern and just don't assign a sound to it.
amazing. Well, you know that I'm a speed reader, right? And I've realized how I speed read, and it's I read the first sentence and the last sentence of a paragraph, and I fill the rest in with my brain. That's how it works. So I actually don't necessarily like I have to physically like slow myself down to read the middle section of a
Wait,
paragraph.
is that what AI does? So you could just be hallucinating
It's
a
not what AI
whole
does.
plot?
It's not that's not how AI works, but it's I definitely sometimes have to go back and reread sections slower because I didn't catch the full thing the first time around. So that is how I speed read.
That is how ChatGPT talks to me, to be honest.
That's fair. Anyway, enough of my weird quirks. How have you been?
I'm very good. I'm in the desert this weekend, so I have actually had a few days off. It's been really nice. I did nothing on Friday.
Amazing.
But it was like I was well enough to enjoy doing nothing because I know I've had time off in the last 3 months, but it's been a
Yeah,
recuperation.
exactly. That's very, very different.
Yeah, and then yesterday we went and viewed some houses, and I think we're sort of on the path to make that move this year. But isn't that such a hard thing for people our age unless you have a lot of help? Like
Yeah.
COVID sort of obliterated savings, career changes. We don't have children, but all of that sort of vibe. And we were talking about like the houses that we were looking at when we were younger and being like, "Oh my god, somewhat like starting at scratch again." But
Yeah.
whatever, it's who cares? It's still gonna happen, and it'll be really nice to be out of a rental, to be honest. I mean, we're
Oh,
still
I
probably gonna have to rent in the city, but
Yeah, but there's really big difference between having a rental that you just that's like a landing spot versus a place that you actually have as a home. Like once you own something, you can do things to it. You can make it yours. Like you've lived in a lot of rentals over the
yeah,
years, and that gets
God,
and you've had some nightmare times with rentals. So you must
my
be
God.
over the moon that you'll have something that you can actually have control over.
And there was one house, and you know this as you've bought places in the past, but there was one house that we have really got stuck on, but they won't take an offer. And the reason they won't take an offer is they paid over 100 grand over asking when they bought it in 2021. So their profit has completely
Well, that was their stupid fault. Like that's
gone,
how is that?
and it's been on the market for almost a year.
See, they're gonna have to at some point, they're gonna have to cave because there's no way that they're gonna make that money back. People are so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stupid sometimes. I
Sorry,
mean, I
my
get
dog's
it, but
having a drink.
I can't actually
He's
hear
just
anything.
oh, you can't? He's having, like, the loudest drink. And talking about loudest drinks, how was seeing the horse?
Oh, it was lovely. It was a little bit of a flying visit. No one has this background. Speaking of spending money, I recently bought a young horse. She'll be my
Oh.
competition horse. She is just about to turn 4 years old, so she's very much a baby, but she is such a sweetheart. Just a really lovely personality, very sensible brain.
Mm.
And so I kind of officially signed the paperwork about 2 weeks ago, and it's the first time I've seen her since she's officially been mine, and I had to take all of
Oh.
my stuff from my retired horse to see if it fit her, and I'm thrilled to report that it does because buying new horse stuff is insanely expensive. These are all like blankets, rugs, whatever you wanna call it, because it's different in the US versus the UK, but it's what they, wear in the winter. And so I have like I don't know, probably 10 plus for my old horse. And I was like, if I have to rebuy all of these things, I was going to be really annoyed. But luckily, they fit. I'm thrilled. It's basically like having your siblings hand me down clothes, but they're all in good shape. So
Oh.
it's fine. But no,
Yay.
she's very good. She's very good.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Well, our pets are like the opposite of what happens on Bravo.
Well, I was gonna say I did actually message you and say when we talk about Beverly Hills, I wanted to talk about Sutton's horse briefly because I was doing some slight stalking of her trainer before we got on this episode, and I gotta say, if I had Sutton's money, I wouldn't be with that particular.
Oh my god, that's like horse bitch gossip.
It really is. Well, I don't know. Like if you just have the money to throw at stuff, there are better people that I would go to. It's not the first time I've kind of stalked her trainer's Instagram, but I was just like, if I had access to some of the people in the Southern California area, it wouldn't be that woman. I'll just put it that way.
Standing
I
on
know.
business. That's like pretty bold.
If you're a horse person, you'd get it, and you saw what this trainer looks like and what her horses go like, you'd understand.
I think you should send Sutton a friendly DM and let her know.
Are you kidding? Sutton would bite my head off, which is one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. So shall we just get into Beverly Hills
Oh,
because we're
perfect segue then.
exactly.
Explain away.
Okay, so we are going to keep with our theme of the week because I think again, we really liked doing that last week, but also a lot of these themes run through all of the shows, which is a
Yeah.
really interesting thing. Once you start noticing it, you really notice it. So this week, our theme is going to be, would you rather have the friend who you have to walk on eggshells around, or would you rather have the friend who is the shit stirrer? So that is the theme for today.
Well, let's take our case studies and
Yes.
then we can let our listeners know what we would do at the end of the episode if you
Oh,
want.
okay. Okay. So my case study for Beverly Hills is obviously Sutton and Jennifer Tilly, because I thought the way that Sutton snapped at Jennifer, and this was in the previous episode, but the fallout kind of happened
Yeah.
in this episode. I thought the way that Sutton bit Jennifer's head off about something really minor was deeply unfair. And I have had those sorts of friends where you have to walk on eggshells around them. And it's really draining and tiring after a while. And I mean, you know this, and I won't get too much into details, but I had someone in my life recently who I kind of had to
Oh.
take a big step back from because it was the same sort of situation. It's like Jennifer didn't do anything wrong in this situation, but Sutton really snapped at her, and I just think it's deeply unfair. And then you had fucking Kyle Richards coming in, being the shit stir, telling everyone, telling Sutton what Jennifer said, and making things 20 times worse than it actually needed to be. So that is Beverly Hills really is the perfect case study in this one.
I thought that their confrontation at the end was quite sweet in the sense that it seemed like it resolved it for both of them. But again, I'm so new to the
Yeah.
Housewives.
Yeah.
Is that was that real?
I think it was real, but looking at it from Sutton, from the kind of knowing Sutton over the years, but also just again from my own experience, because you always put yourself in people's
Yeah.
shoes, right? For me, it felt like it was Jennifer caving a bit because she didn't want to rock the boat. And of course, there are times when you have to do that. But I also think that because she backed down really quickly and she kind of then put it on herself and she was
Well,
like,
I
"Oh,
think she felt guilty about saying something behind her back.
oh, I'm sure she did." And
And I think that's
I
really what she ended up apologizing. Like her guilt became bigger
yeah,
than righteous anger should have been, you know?
yeah, yeah, that's a really good way of putting it because really it should have been Sutton apologizing for biting her head off. The problem, I think, is that you have to remember Jennifer is still relatively new to being on reality TV, and she's also not a full-time cast member. She's just a friend of, even though she is kind of carrying the season. And so I think she just forgot that she was being filmed or didn't think that she was being filmed because she stepped away for a few minutes, whereas you've got Kyle, who's been on Beverly Hills for 15 seasons, and so
Oh,
Kyle
went out
knew.
there and intentionally stirred the pot, did she?
Yeah, exactly, Kyle knew,
Oh my
Kyle knew.
god.
Yeah,
That's
so
mean. That's
but that
mean because we all know that
that's
Jennifer's
Kyle.
like the, you know, the one on the outs on that. Not that anyone has said that, but in terms of like I'm gonna assume that Carl Richards is more wealthy than her. She's definitely
No,
gorgeous.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
You
can
know
we look it up? Keep
okay,
talking, I'm gonna
well,
Google
do you
it.
know so
I'm gonna do Google research.
Jennifer Tilly's background, I don't know if you knew this because obviously you didn't watch last season. When we were introduced to Jennifer Tilly, obviously she's an Oscar-winning actress. Her money comes from the fact that she used to be married to one of the guys that developed The Simpsons. And when she got divorced, she, rather than getting alimony or whatever it was, she got a cut of The Simpsons. So she's doing pretty well for herself. I would say that Kyle is obviously
I
doing
know
pretty well for herself too, but
Kyle Richards is worth more
oh, is she? Okay.
by like a long way.
But is that Kyle's money or Maurice? That's because that's also Mauricio because of the agency. Kyle's
There is
investor in the
still
agency.
there is still I mean, they are all over LA, but
Yeah.
regardless of that, is there family money with Kyle and Kathy Hilton?
No, because Kathy, so the Richard sisters lore is that actually for a long time, so it was Big Kath, I believe, is their mother, and then Kathy, Kim, and Kyle. Kim and Kyle were child actresses, and Kim actually carried the family for a long, long time, and the mom married various different men. Kathy obviously then married into the Hilton family. And obviously, with all of their money, there's like quite a lot of drama between Kathy Hilton and Mauricio and him like breaking away from their company to start the agency, something like that. But when they first were married or first starting out, Mauricio and Kyle didn't have a ton of money. So they really did come into the money from
His work
the
and her
agency.
networking.
Yeah, exactly.
They are a great agency. I know I've said that before. They really are. You've poo-pooed some dressage people, whereas I'm just gonna poo-poo all realtors, especially in the UK, aren't like
Oh, they're fucking awful.
they they really they really will bend rules to make a sale, and if it's not in your favor, it's awful. It's
Well,
really
also,
awful.
for the Americans in the audience, who don't know, in the UK, you don't have to be licensed to be an estate agent. Anyone can be one, whereas in the States, it actually is quite a rigorous process to become licensed, and you do have to have, like, a lot of knowledge and awareness and stuff, but in the UK, you don't. Literally anyone could walk in off the street and decide they wanted to be an estate agent.
Yeah, it's wild.
I know.
Um,
Anyway, back to Beverly Hills.
they are a great agency, but it looks like they are both worth the same amount of money if you don't combine Kyle's money with her e estranged husband's.
And apparently that's why that's why they haven't fully gotten divorced yet, is their finances are so complicated. It would be very difficult to, like, unweave them, something like that.
Yeah, and I bet, like, when push comes to shove, unless he falls in love with someone else, they'll get
Yeah, I
back
was gonna
together.
say, I would actually
They look like
agree with that.
wonderful friends, and it is really in America, it's really tough. We've been
I
talking
also
about this on and off throughout the
Yeah.
podcast, but it is really tough to divorce here.
Yeah, it is. It is. I also think, yeah, they have remained very good friends. I think that's why their divorce was so shocking for a lot of people. Like, I think there'd always been rumors about him, you know, having extracurricular
Dalliances.
activities.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think she probably kind of turned a blind eye to it for a long time and just kind of went on with it. And whatever the catalyst was that, you know, caused her to really pull the trigger. But definitely she, like, it was a shock. That was a big shock to the Bravo community when those two split, because they seemed like they were such a good couple.
Well, look, I still stand by the fact that I feel like Kyle probably always needs to pick kindness over putting someone like a Jennifer Tilly in the firing line. Look, Jennifer Tilly doesn't strike me as someone that really deserves ever to be
I don't
in the
think so.
firing line. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was Amanda, go for it, Kyle.
Go for
Do
it.
your
Let's
worst.
talk about Amanda in a
Do
minute.
your worst. Little old Jennifer Tilly, like leave her alone. Old
She's just
eccentric
there
Jennifer
to
Tilly.
she's just there to eat her snacks and wear fabulous clothes. I did love when she came to Rachel Zoe's party wearing that just stunning dress, and Rachel Zoe, of all people, said, "If there's one person whose closet I would like to have, it's Jennifer." And from what I've gathered, like, in previous episodes, particularly last season, she would show up with these, like, incredibly expensive, but also, like, collector, designer, vintage, whatever, and everyone always says that Jennifer really is, like, a fashion aficionado, so I could totally see why Rachel would want her wardrobe, but also I just love that, like, that's a big thing for Rachel, of all people, to say.
What you look, talking about vintage clothes, what goes around? I thought that that was in London, and then there was one in New York, and I remember you used to go down the steps to
Mm.
get into it. I didn't realize there was one in
I
LA,
don't
and I
I
should have
don't know.
looked it up while I was watching, but I actually try and watch these episodes now.
Well, you'll have to go be our woman on the ground and go try and track it down.
Well, I say that because where they were, I was just like, I'm so sure that was in New York.
Well, there probably
Obviously, it's
was.
not. Obviously, but where they were, there's obviously one in Beverly Hills. And I thought that it was just super interesting, that whole scene where they are talking about the joke that is Amanda.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I sent it to you. Definitely, if you've got a half an hour, 45 minutes, listen to it. But the Bravo Docket, which is a Bravo podcast, if listeners haven't heard of it, definitely go check out the Bravo Docket. They have done a deep dive into Amanda's
Oh my god, give me the
business.
highlights.
Um, it's kind of everything that you assume. I think it's very, without it. I mean, you know what these online coaching businesses are like, right?
I just agreed with everything that Bose said. I have an influencer that I work with who I think is incredible, who has a coaching business, but on the health side.
Mm,
And one of the things that she has said, I don't know if she's ever said it publicly, but she has always said, I would never take business advice from someone that has never
yep.
run a business, because she has her coaching business, but she also has brick and mortar gyms and Pilates studios, and she's like, "Why am I this fucking idiot who's never had to balance a book, pay staff
Mm,
properly?"
yeah. And that's the thing, because Bose does have courses as well, but her courses are like, I don't know, $100, $150. Amanda's courses are like thousands.
Well, this
And
is I hate that world. You know, I've said
yeah,
it all the time. I hate that world. The energetics of business. Fuck off. You are no different to a snake oil salesman. You've
yeah,
just
yeah.
conned people. And the issue with what you do is it will work for some people who follow it to the letter and are going to be a weird culty disciple of yours. It'll work. But for the general person, your course they're not even going to finish and you've charged them and it's not a fail safe. That's the thing that pisses me off. It just isn't a fail safe. You can never guarantee anything, but you've got to be able to at least guarantee a bit on something that expensive. And also, like,
1,000%. But
anyway,
also, like, Bose walks the walk. Like, I know, we've talked a little bit about it before, but like, I go to all of these marketing and advertising conferences and whatever, and Bose is there on panels and stuff as a legit, like, she knows her shit. You don't get the jobs that she had if you don't know what you're doing. And there's a really big difference. Also, one of the things that they talk about in the Bravo docket is that Amanda originally went to college for ministry or something like that. So she's got that mindset of like a little bit like a cult leader. She's got that original
you can go
training
to
was
college for ministry.
apparently, yeah. I have no idea. I mean, it's America, right? That's the sort of fucking stuff that you can do there. But anyway, yeah, so she's got that, like, so she knows how to talk to people in that way that like draws them in, which is very cult leader. Like, I think she even at one point belonged to a cult. Don't quote
Yeah,
me on
that's what
that.
they were saying in the episode, which I'm
Yeah.
like, take that or leave that because again, like I've met a lot of people in America who grew up in communes and
Yeah, it's a real thing there.
especially like people our age, who were I'm born 83, but like let's say anyone sort of 5, 10 years older who were born in the 70s, they might have spent the first few years of their life in a 70s cult.
Especially in
Commune.
especially in California.
Yes, like, honestly, I met someone not that long ago. I would say that I probably meet one person every 6 months who straight off the bat will tell me that they grew up in a commune.
That's wild. I don't think I've ever met anyone who grew up in a commune.
But I think that you were an adult in the UK and not
That is
in
true, but
America.
also it's not like Seattle loves a hippie, but it's a different type of hippie, I think. Like California hippies are their own unique beast.
I just feel like I've met a lot, and I met someone maybe a year ago who grew up in the really famous one that's quite legitimized. I have to look up what it is, and she was like, "Well, you've heard of it, right?" Because it's basically now like a wellness center. I've got
Oh
to
my
look it up,
god.
and I can think in my head what it's called, but I don't want to get it wrong because if that is just a wellness center and I've said that it used to be a commune, maybe I'll fact check before I say it out loud. But totally a thing.
That is wild. Well, okay, so let's talk about the Amanda elephant in the room because wow, she was a lot
I don't think it's
this
an elephant in
episode.
the room.
No,
I
it's
think
not the
it's like
elephant in the room, but also I think the women have reached the tipping point with her where they just really dislike her
I don't
and
like
it's starting to come
Doris,
out. Oh, Dorit.
but I was on
No.
her side. Don't you manipulate me with your dead son, lady.
So I really wanted to talk to you about that too, because I also felt that she was weaponizing her child's death, which obviously, okay, look, there are two truths here, right? Like, obviously, having your
No, no, no.
child
There's no
die is
two
fucking
truths.
awful,
She's
but she
manipulative and a
weaponized it.
narcissist.
Yeah,
She's manipulative and good for
because
Dora to like not back down.
she could have said, she didn't even have to announce it to the group. She could have said to Rachel, hey, I'm going to come to this thing. It's a rough day, so I might have to bow out early or something. She didn't even have to go into details. She could just say, look, this is not a good day for me. I'm going to come to this
She's not missing
dinner.
filming. Come
No,
on.
well, this is
No.
part of it. She's not missing
No.
filming, but No, she's definitely not missing filming. But, there was at one point, she said, "I don't come to a dinner party expecting to be attacked." But the thing is,
She wasn't
you're a
attacked.
housewife. Well, also, she
She
wasn't attacked,
wasn't
but
attacked.
also, you're
She
a
is
housewife.
Queen Pot Stirrer, and
Yes.
someone confronted her, which is the whole point of Bravo.
This is the thing, right? You come to a dinner as a housewife.
I
It
hate
doesn't
her.
matter what house, it doesn't matter, like, you could be attacked by another housewife at any moment in time, right? You are always have to be conscious of the
I
fact.
hate her. She's
Yeah, so do
manipulative,
I.
she's a narcissist. When we talk about these people and you're, like, making parallels between, friends that you've cut out of your life or whatever, and you're like, "Yeah, that was a painful situation. That makes sense to cut that person out." I look at Amanda and I don't think that. I think that person is dangerous. That isn't like a parallel I could ever make into my own life because I would run. And I have come across people like that, but
Mm.
there is no, like, I can think of a couple of times since I've left the music industry where I've come across people like that and been like, I need to hightail it out. This person is not what they say they are, and I'm not sticking around for this. She would never have gone. And it's so hard with this because she's put all of us in a terrible situation because we can't criticize her. And
But
I have
that's part of the
actually
manipulation.
currently living through this with some friends. So I said I would hightail it out of there, but apparently not. Where someone has done something so drastic and turned a whole situation around that you can no longer say anything because you are literally disturbing someone's mental health. And that to me makes me be like, there's nothing wrong with your mental health because you've just switched it up on everyone. I wouldn't even say that's weaponizing. I'd say that is straight up narcissistic manipulation. You fucking crazy.
I think because that was so out of left field for everyone, when she said that, I think Dorit was really, and look, I don't generally love Dorit. She's always really annoyed me.
Yeah.
I've never liked her as an individual on the show. But I think everyone was so, like, genuinely shocked. No one was expecting that. And I think everyone was a little bit taken aback. And I think in Dorit's head, and she probably was told by production, like, "Oh, you've got to bring up this divorce storyline," because she also brought that up completely out of nowhere, like interrupting Jennifer and Sutton's conversation about that. So I think Dorit just had it in her head where she's like, must talk to Amanda about divorce. And I also think that she was kind of going for it because and it took like a minute to register, if that makes sense. Like, she kept pushing at it also because
No,
she
I
was like,
think
I
that
must do the storyline.
no, no. I think that then they edited it amazingly because I don't like her for lots of reasons. Dorit, we're
Yeah.
talking about here. She's having a little redemption with me on her divorce, but I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. But I was 100% on her side
Oh, I was
with,
I was not on Amanda's side
and I don't think that was
whatsoever.
necessarily set up. I think that she was just like, no, no, bitch. Don't you go there. If you can say this behind my back and you can be at this dinner, you can answer this question because I'm not asking you in a mean way. I haven't attacked you. I'm asking you straight up, and you've annoyed me, so I'm not asking you with like bells and whistles on, but I am asking you. And the moment she was hit with that and she was like, "Oh yeah, there's no way to get around this apart from to say sorry, and I'm a dickhead and I shouldn't have spoken about something I didn't know, and I shouldn't have been, oh, I've been praying for you. I've been
Oh
praying
my
for you.
God.
But then
I can't.
behind your back, I'm also going to say X, Y, and Z and be really critical and stir the pot.
But you know
But
who else
then,
stirred the pot? Kyle, because Kyle also brought that up because Kyle was the one that had the conversation with Amanda and told Dorit.
well, okay. So who would you rather be friends with? The shit stirrer or the narcissist?
Christ, in that situation, I would rather be friends with the shit stirrer, I think.
Yeah, and
Having
then
been burned by
you
the
just don't
narcissist
say
thing.
anything,
Yeah.
you don't say anything that's gonna get you into trouble with Carl. We are all grown people here. We've all done this and been caught out. You know, you've said something behind someone's back. It could have been in like not bad intentions at all. But when it's said from someone like retold, sounds terrible, right? Like we've all been in a situation like that. Oh, you could have just said something terrible about who's a friend and you get caught out. But that's what your 20s are for, right? These are grown ass women married to rich men and in some cases like Bose are rich themselves and like have earned it. They're not stupid. They know what's going to happen. You tell Kyle Richards a secret, it's going to come out amplified, turned up the dial. Just don't tell her anything. Just like go for a fun margarita and let her tell you about her bisexuality or whatever
Well,
it
see,
is.
she never would. That's the problem with Kyle, is that she wants to tell everyone else's shit, but she will never talk about her stuff anymore. She used to, but not anymore.
Well, then you all need to be smarter than Kyle Richards, which feels like it shouldn't be a massive. What's going on here?
My
She's definitely
God.
not dumb, but like, surely, like, it's pretty obvious what her broad strokes and rules are.
Yeah.
If you, I feel like you all deserve to die on the sword if you're not.
The story, never tell Kyle Richards anything.
Well,
Yeah.
and I would always pick Carl Richards over Amanda. And you know what's really bad is I do have lots of people in common with her,
Yes,
and
you
I didn't
do.
really understand that until I saw her book cover, because then I remember people like sending it to me. So I must have had
Wait. Sorry,
friends.
you've got connections to Amanda.
Yeah, well, that's not
I didn't
weird
know
for
that.
me. That feels
No,
like
that's
that's
true. Not in
something that
that
would actually
space.
make
Yeah.
sense. I don't get into that world, but I definitely bought courses and things like that. I'm not
Yeah.
setting up my business. And there were a couple of like people I consider like actual LA friends who she's following and they're following her. And there is a mastermind that I think they must have all been in together. And I can think of who was running it as well. Like
What?
that's what I
Yeah.
think is the connection. And that makes sense. And like when I think about when I first heard people talking about her, it would have been around that moment where that mastermind was happening. And it's all a little bit ML,
It's so MLM. It really gives MLM vibes for sure.
which I don't care if something's multi-level marketing. I don't care. It's not for me. But what I don't like is when it's people pretend that they're not MLM.
Yeah.
And then these sort of like influencer groups get together and they're selling each other's stuff, basically, which is
Yeah.
what affiliate rates are. And look, I'm an affiliate for RHOBH, for all of the, sure, for all of the equipment that I use. So I do think that these systems, being an affiliate with the brands that you use and the brands that you talk about when you're in a career like mine makes
Totally makes
complete
sense.
sense.
Makes complete sense.
But it's the manipulation of that system and then across promoting other people's. And I rely on my friends to promote my certification, all of that
Everyone
stuff.
does. Yeah.
But that stuff, Think and Grow Rich, ain't real. My loves, you must do the work. Get qualified in something. Put in the hours.
I love that. Okay. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about with Beverly Hills before we move on to Southern Charm? I mean, I don't think we've. My
One more
biggest things
thing.
were Sutton and Jennifer and Amanda and the
I
baby
do
thing.
want to say one thing, and I
What?
don't
Go
want to
for it.
spend too long on it because I really, really like her, but she said it on the episode. But Bo's talking about her IVF journey, which is very
Yes.
heartbreaking anyway.
Yes.
But when she said that she was basically implying that she was worried her husband would leave her if he didn't have a
Yes.
baby, and she was just like, she used the phrase satisfied. And it just
Yes.
made me feel so fucking sad that this amazing
Yes. I
amazing
felt the
example
same
of a
way.
woman
Yep.
can just be cut down.
Yeah. I felt the exact same way and I thought the exact same thing. And one of the podcasts that I was listening to this week that was talking about Beverly Hills said something along the lines of like, why is it on her? Like, he knew that she was a woman of a certain age.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
going to be much more difficult for her. She had a history of very difficult, traumatic pregnancies. Like, why is this falling on her shoulders?
I know that we can't have a whole episode about it. Wouldn't be very Beverly Hills Housewives. But how terrible that like
Yeah.
Amanda becomes the biggest part of that episode, and we aren't talking about that's a real issue for women watching Housewives.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like so many of my friends that have had fertility issues, but also that the second more serious part of all of that is we're in our 40s. We're going to lose our husband if we fail to give a baby because actually we're still all handmaids.
I I feel very strongly about the fact that you shouldn't be forced into having a kid just because your partner wants you to have a kid. So,
I don't know
yeah.
if she's being forced. I don't think she's
No,
being
she's not being
forced. I think
forced.
genuinely wants to have the child, but the underlying message is that if she can't, not only does she go through the heartbreak of not being able to have the third
Yeah.
child,
Yeah.
that she is going to lose. Like, you're an old maid. Not only are you a handmaid, but you're an old maid.
Oh
It's
my
so
god.
sad.
It
And I
is
get that
that
that's
is
not,
very sad.
I
No, I
guess that
agree.
that's
And I
not the
thought
point.
no, but I thought the exact same thing. I thought that was deeply concerning. But it also just goes to show that it doesn't matter how badass and successful you are.
Men
You
are
can still
shit.
have the men are shit. Well, definitely that, but also you can still have those thoughts and those that sort of insecurity and doubt and, you
I
know.
don't think it's an insecurity. I think the dude will leave her. She's not being insecure. She's being like factual. How has she
Well,
got
okay,
into
then
that
it really
situation?
is men are shit. So, definitely that.
Okay, so let's put a pin in Bose and see what unfolds with that because it's clearly going to
Yeah, I think there's
become a
definitely
thing.
more. Well, she's still not pregnant now, so it, you know, in real time she is not pregnant, so it's definitely not something that
Just the worst to want to be a mother and for it not to happen. It's so painful.
yes, that is very true. Okay, let's talk about Southern charm because I believe we have this sort of w eggshell friend and shit stir friend in Southern charm as well.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of Southern Charm, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got Eggshell Craig
Yep.
and Crag and your original pot stirrer, Austen Kroll. Do you not think? I think that's the whole pivot of the season. And the only other thing I'll bring up immediately, and then I'll hand all of Southern Charm to you, is I loved Sally saying, I'm not having Venita back in my life. Like, I feel like I'm on eggshells. That's where this phrase came
Yeah.
from, is the fact that Sally said it about Venita. And true. Venita is an unstable friend to Sally, like giving her
Yeah.
hugs, like trying to, you know, that for me looked like a manipulative mother tactic there, where it's like, oh, I'm
Ooh.
just going to hug you and tell you that I want you back and like, let's be friends. And it's like, you've literally have been so mean to her in public about the fact that Craig's going to dick her over, which he has. And you just want to sweep it under the carpet and get back to normal. That's not how she feels. But having said that about Sally, and I do feel sorry for Sally with the Venita side, not with the Craig side. You're an idiot to not see that one coming. But with the Venita stuff, that's horrible when your best friend, like, basically, don't bother to call me. I'm going to be right about him humiliating you. Great, you were right, Venita. You were right. How good does that feel now
Well, then
that
to
you got
also
to watch your friend?
to turn it around and say, "Why didn't you call me? You told her not to call you."
But she also didn't say it nicely. She
Yeah.
also didn't say it nicely. And now she's tried to be nice about it and been like giving her a hug at Rodrigo's engagement party. But just to finish this thought, and so I can hand it over to you, I just feel like Sally, when you're pointing your finger at someone and the saying is that you're pointing three fingers back at yourself,
Mm.
how is what she's upset with Benita about is exactly how she's behaved to Charlie.
Absolutely.
Eggshells
Absolutely.
and a shit stirrer, to be honest.
Yep.
Maybe
Yep.
less of a shit stirrer, but definitely eggshells. Like, he never liked you. You liked him.
Yeah.
And blinded everything else. He clearly liked Charlie. And even without Charlie coming into it, I don't think Craig would have slept with her because
No, I don't think so either. If it would have
but even if he
happened
did, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
That's just sex. And like, Sally needs to not equate sex to a ring on the finger.
Yeah.
It is not a cheap bunk up around the corner. But she does derive her worth against crossing that sexual line with
Yeah.
a dude. But for a dude, it doesn't necessarily mean that. And sometimes for women too, it doesn't, the notch on the bedpost is not the same thing as love and flirting, or it's just a notch on the bed, especially if alcohol's involved. If he ain't dating you, he's not trying to get to know you in anything more. Like, you may be dating him sitting in the hot tub. That's not a date for him.
Especially not, as we've kind of found out, which Sally happens to leave out when she's having these conversations. She, like, Shep was there. Charlie and Craig's annoying friend were there. Like, it wasn't
Corey.
just Corey. Yes, that's his name. Yeah, it wasn't just like the two of them having a romantic moment in the hot tub. There were a shit ton of other people there. So it's not like it was just, a special
Yeah,
moment that she was having with him.
she's an 18-year-old about that. And
Yeah.
if she was 18, I would have lots and lots and lots of hugs and sympathy for her. But she's a 30-year-old woman who ignored all the signs and built her own narrative. And on most people, I'd say that was like a little dangerous. But on her, I'm just like, no, you're just a moron. That was just a really stupid thing to let yourself get into.
No, I don't disagree. Okay, so I just had a couple of notes on Southern Charm. Where is Molly? What the hell happened to Molly? She's just vanished off our screens, and I want her on our screens. I thought that the conversation that she had with Charlie was so sensible when they were doing their arts and crafts. I just thought that that was she was like the big sister energy that I think Charlie really needed at that moment in time. And I want more of Molly on our screens. Where'd she go?
I just think that Molly is someone who probably doesn't always feel like she wants to film. And I think that one of the sad things about Molly, this side of her sorting out her mental health, is that she'll be inconsistent. And I think that she should go and get herself diagnosed for ADHD or autism on the spectrum and get some
Definitely on the spectrum, I
strategy,
think.
because I
Yeah.
can just, imagine that it's very, very hard on the days where she doesn't have the energy or the up.
You know what
And
else it
being on
is?
screen is hard for that.
It's also because she doesn't have a relationship with one of the main 3 guys, whereas Charlie, Sally, and Madison to an extent. Madison more like just her long continuous
Yeah,
relationship and friendship with the guys. And Molly just doesn't have that sort of relationship with them. She might,
because
like,
it's
be
built
friendly
on
with
who
them, but
slept with who. Even with
yeah, exactly.
Madison,
Yeah.
she has a good relationship with all of them because she knows them so well
But she
because
went through
of
hell with them in the past.
yeah, but she also gave them hell.
Oh, she absolutely did.
I've
But
watched
she's
the
got
last 2
that.
seasons where it's like, "Oh god, Madison, no."
But this is the thing, like, she's gone through so much with them stemming from her relationship with Austen, and she's kind of come out the other side with it where she can be friends with them now, but that's, like, a really
And she's
long-term
like a
relationship.
guy, or she's
Yeah.
just putting her career first, because frankly, the way they treated her, I would never fucking speak to any of
Oh,
those
no, they
people
were awful to her.
again. Like, the way they all called her white trash,
Yep.
and they meant it they meant it in a venomous way.
Yeah,
But
for
like
sure.
dudes do, they can forgive, forget, and actually genuinely move on in a way that, I
Unless you're
personally
Austen.
would struggle. I think the problem with Austen is that he will not move on from Craig until it's completely sabotaged, until there's
Mm.
frankly, it's doing him no favors.
With those 2 guys, there is something really weird, like, some underlying current that is really weird between the 2 of them, and it's like there's like, with Austen, he's deeply jealous of Craig and Craig's success, even though Craig, didn't necessarily do it on his own. But, like, I think at one point they were on a level, right? They were, like, doing their podcast together, and they both had businesses that were, like, okay, but not amazing. And then post the Page thing and Craig's business really taking off, Craig is, like, in a whole 'nother level now, and for a long time, it looked like he was moving on with his life in terms of, like, he was in a long-term relationship, et cetera, and it feels like Austen's been left behind in a way that he really cannot, and it's all relative, like, he's left behind in his own mind, not in actuality, but for him, he clearly
Yeah.
feels like he's been left behind. He is deeply jealous of what Craig
Yeah.
wants and has, and that's the underlying root of it all. But then it's not helped by the fact that you have to walk on eggshells around Craig because, Austen will do these little jabs because he's jealous, but then Craig reacts disproportionately crazy because Craig is an
Disproportionately,
eggshell
and
for
he's another one that is terribly unkind. He's
Yes.
unkind to Austen because he sees what I was saying to you about Kyle and how Kyle should treat people with kindness because she's infinitely better than a Jennifer Tilly. And I know that that's not true when you look inside a person, but they live in a world where what's on the outside really
Mm.
matters.
Yep.
And Craig will always be better looking. Like, he's a
Yep.
handsome
He
guy
is.
and he is as charming as Austen. And he's never really had to work terribly hard for all of
No.
his luck because we live in a world that is biased towards pretty people.
Yep.
And when you're on
Pretty
Bravo, it
privilege.
really, really is
Yeah.
biased towards pretty and rich people.
Yep.
So he's always going to be on the outs. So rather than thinking that you're better, Craig, than Austen, accept that you are always going to have an easier time and be kind. Just be like, he's going to look like a potato for the rest of his life. I take that back. That's so mean. I'm not a mean
You're gonna get
person.
blocked by both Austen and Craig.
But you know what I mean, though? Like, Craig sort of looks like, the Southern answer to Kendall. Austen looks like Mr. Potato Head. I
My
can imagine, though, in
god.
real life, he's really striking because he's
Yeah, I
so
have
tall and
heard
has
yeah, I
lovely.
have heard that.
And what about the toupee bit? Okay, let's bring this back because I feel really guilty about the potato head. But he said when he's having a nice moment with Audrey, like, "Do you still like me?" Because it looked like he was wearing a toupee in the photo. Did you
Yes,
catch
it
that bit?
did. Yes, I did.
So it's not just me. Austen has moments of being like, "Oh, I look like a potato toupee," and
Oh, man. That Austen Audrey
was terrible. What is he doing hugging Sally?
I know, I know, and in, like, a really overly friendly way as well. That was so not cool. I felt so bad for Audrey, and he's 10 years older than Audrey, so she's only 28, so she does, like, he is look, I don't necessarily agree with the way that Craig is handling it, but I think everyone is in agreement that he is wasting this girl's time, and I think if
Oh,
you've
yeah. Oh, like, Craig, butt out of the,
Yeah.
who are you to be, judge and jury to Austen's relationship just because you're feeling butt sore about Paige moving on pretty quickly? Just give it a rest because he's soon enough going to end up with Sally and they're going to join up arm in arm. And it really, what Craig has done to Austen is no different to what Venita did to. You can't always save your friend from the car crash they're about to have,
Yep, that is very
but you
true.
can be, as Venita's mum says, a friend is a friend always. Like, a friend is a friend. They're there all the time. They don't just not be friends with you because it's, serves them better. They're friends with you through the good and the bad unless you do something despicable. That isn't what Venita's mum said, but she said to Venita about the Sally situation, "Hey, I think that's unkind.
Yeah.
I don't think that
Well,
was a good thing to do." And I feel that about Craig, like, just he's find out for himself and he's going to really leave that girl damaged, not forever, but for a year, she's going to be very confused and heartbroken because all these big grown
yeah.
men were saying weird things about her that she didn't understand. And she'll learn from it and be fine. She's going to go meet someone else, have nice looking babies, whatever it is that she wants to do. She'll be fine, but she's going to hurt for a year. And, like, you don't need to be the ruler of that, do you, Craig?
No, but also sometimes you just have to let your friend's gonna do it anyway. You have to let them do their thing. Like, Sally was gonna, and she said it, in that lunch that she had with Venita, like, she's gonna make that mistake. You have to let her make that mistake. You can't I know you
Yeah.
don't want your friends to hurt, but you can't stop them from doing it. They're their own people. You have to just let them do it, and, yeah, it's gonna suck for them, but they've gotta learn that mistake or make that mistake themselves.
I agree. And if you don't like what they're doing, then it's time to step back from the friendship. You don't
Yep,
need to be
yep,
right. Like, I don't understand this whole thing of like, I must be right. Like, cool, you
yeah.
saw a terrible thing happening
To be fair, that
and
we all saw coming.
he just never should have been with. Austen needs to grow the F up, is my underlying through line with all of this. And he's needed to grow up since Madison. He went for Audrey because she reminds him of home. She's a safe girl from
Yep.
Charlotte. She's also very beautiful. It was nice to see her talk a little bit more this episode. And
I
I thought
know.
when she was getting ready, I was like, oh, she's intelligent and pretty, which we haven't
Yeah.
had the fortune to see because he's been keeping her away from the cameras because he knows he's going to break up with her. But now I'm just like, yeah, but you shouldn't be dating 28-year-olds for 2 years and not getting serious about it.
I just had a few very quick things. First of all, the mystery is solved. Rodrigo is an interior designer. That is why everyone keeps getting him to design their houses. It's not just that he's a gay man with good taste. It does look like he is
Yeah.
actually an interior designer. That was my big question mark over him.
I'm quite excited to see the opium bed thing, the opium bed coffee table, which I'm kind of like, oh, like, is that going to, I feel like there are ghosts that are going to come out of that
Uh,
opium
that is
at night.
totally haunted. But also, I feel like that vibes with Shep. So,
Yeah, I feel
you
like
know.
he'll get drunk, fall asleep on the sofa, and then wake up with the ghost of like Sir Christopher Wallace Montgomery looking at him with like a big
The big opium
opium
pipe.
pipe out of his.
What if he gets possessed by the ghost?
I think he is already. Maybe it will be like the genie in the
Maybe
bottle
that
but in reverse, and it will just like come out of him and be like, I must return to my opium bed and just land into the opium bed. And that's the end. And then Shep becomes really boring and like cries to Taylor and says, let's get married, and becomes really like,
that would be
yeah,
Taylor's dream. Oh my god, that is amazing.
it would be.
So
That's what's going to happen.
we're all dying to see what happens with the haunted opium table for coffee
Yeah,
table for
it's like
sure.
weird science, but for the Southern Charm generation.
What if Shep is so annoying that the ghost is like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here. I can't live with this guy. He's so annoying."
Yeah, cracks the bed in half and goes through the four floorboards and out to sea.
Yeah,
Sullivan's Island looks different these
that's
days.
what I would do if I were the ghost haunting an opium bed coffee table. I wouldn't want to live with Shep.
I can't remember what I said his name was now, but we must listen
Sir
back to this
Christopher
episode.
something Montgomery, something along those lines. Well, I look forward to that. And then the only other thing I just wanted to say was that
Yeah.
white party was beautiful, but God, it looked so hot. They were all so sweaty. The thought of South Carolina in the summer is my idea of hell.
Well, they don't usually film at this time, do they? Because I remember there's
I don't
always
know.
a Christmas thing. There's always like quite
Oh,
cold
it
things. Like they're
finishes
going,
up. Yeah.
yeah, riding in the cold and all this stuff. And they always have like a Christmassy party. Like
Yeah.
Craig,
I
do you
don't know
remember Craig's
why.
Christmas party where he sent lava out into the it
Oh,
was
yes, he
so
did,
bad.
didn't he?
He is worse than an Eggshells friend. Like he's
Yeah, he's
unhinged.
awful. Yeah, I don't know when they're filming this, but it just looked miserable. I've only been to Charleston once, and it was for my
Oh,
cousin. Well,
amazing.
I haven't this was a long, long time ago. My cousins actually live in Charlotte, and I was there for a cousin's wedding, and it was just unbearably hot. I could never live there. I mean, for many reasons, but just the heat alone would wipe me out.
Oh, I love the idea of it in the sense that the buildings are beautiful.
It is a
It's a safer
stunning
version of
city.
New Orleans, which has never recovered from Hurricane
Yeah.
Katrina. Like I do look at all of those southern places and think, I would love to have my, you know, May, April to June abode
Just a brief, well, you can Airbnb Shep's house with the opium bed.
If his clothes and stuff are still in there and I could spend the whole time looking at
Do you know
like
who
going
else
to your
has,
V&A storehouse, but like the
oh my
Shep
God,
storehouse.
pick a lock on the closet where he puts all of his stuff and just it like spills open like that closet in Friends. Amazing. Okay, we should end on that note because I know you have to head out, but it has been a pleasure talking to you as
It's always a
always.
pleasure. I wonder what's gonna
Always.
come up this week.
Haunted opium beds. I look
I
forward to
wish.
catching I look forward to catching up with you soon. And also, we've got Summer House coming up. We've got so many exciting new shows coming.
Oh my god, is that 2 weeks' time?
The 3rd, I believe, of February. So yes,
2
can't
weeks, or
wait.
is that a week?
Yeah, it's after Salt
A
Lake
week and a
finishes.
half. A week and a
Yeah,
half, right? Like, we're
because
Sunday now,
I
so it's
think
like
the third part of this. Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Salt Lake. It was hectic. That's all we need to say. It was too much.
Andy walked off.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been the same as Andy. It's too much. The screaming, it's too much.
You know what we could do, everybody, is it's the last of the reunion for Salt Lake on this coming week. We can just do a retrospective. It's tough, and I think the same actually about Southern Charm is more
Yes,
interesting
it is. It is because it is
for
crazy how
this.
there are these continuing themes through each of them.
Yeah, it's I think friendships are, especially as women, our biggest learning point in life.
Yeah,
Female friendship.
for sure.
Because it's very easy once you found that person you want to be with or not be with. It's like your primary relationship sort of trots along, takes work. But female friendships, because you have multiple of them and they change as you change, it's for me, it's a forever evolution of learning about myself as well as learning about like how hard I want to work to keep certain people in my life versus like, got to get rid of them because as much as I like them, they take up so much space
Yeah,
that then I don't get back to the people that I really care about
yeah.
and I
Or
actually need to nurture them.
or they're really emotionally draining, and it's quite hard to be their
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, go
Anyway,
take your dysfunction somewhere else.
yeah, exactly. Okay, on that note, let's head out. We will see you next week, and good luck with your houses.
Thanks. I'll let you know if I find any opium beds
Yes, please do. I look
slash
forward to
coffee
it.
tables.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.